desktop is seeing here. Last time we have drawn this line segment. Everybody have this, please redraw it. Okay, line and line segment. So that was a topic of discussion. Line and line segment. So this was topic of discussion last time. You draw this one. Okay, let's draw this diagram, all of you. There is x and y axis. Okay, one green line is there which cuts y axis at c distance. Okay, and we have plotted x1, x2 points on x axis, corresponding point x1, y1 and x2, y2. Okay, x1, y1 and x2, y2 here. Again, we have projection. We have taken projection of the point. Okay, we are saying this is projection. Or okay, so y1, y2 on x-axis. Okay, then we have given a 3 equation of lines. Line is gives by y equal to mx plus c, equation 1. This is called slope intercept form. Okay, and where m equal to delta y by delta x, that is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay, upon x1. So delta y by delta x. Now moving ahead, there is second form of also the line of second form is also available. Okay, somewhere it is used. So y minus y1 upon x minus x1 equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. That is equation, let's say equation 2. We also have the third equation, okay, which is given by x upon constant a plus y upon constant b equal to 1. Okay, so these are the some standard equations, and let's start our discussion from normally equation 1 we are using for line drawing in computer graphics. Okay, so normally we are using equation number 1. So we can start our illustration. You can write normally equation number 1 used for line drawing. Okay, line drawing. So let's take in we can say computer graphics. Okay, so now moving ahead, let's write down. So first of all, let's see what is the line segment. Okay, why it is called line segment? If I plot here x-axis versus y-axis. So let's say this is the point P. Okay, let's say point P here. Okay, let's say point P, which has x1, y1 coordinate, and there is one point P2, which has x2, y2. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Let's say circle it. Okay, now how the line segments is formed. Okay, line segment, how line segment between P1 to P2. Okay, P1 to P2 is forming. So let me draw this very minutely. Can we say that this is we are enabling this pixel till P2? Okay, okay, right? अगर हम zoom in करके देखते हैं, right? So this is the combination of some points. The line is formed. The line segment is formed points between, okay, connected points, okay. Line is formed, line segment is from point P1 to P2 is formed by a group of consecutive pixels, okay. Group of consecutive माने ये बहुत बड़ा निकाला, so let's say this is big one, this is another big one, okay. एक पिक्सल मैं ड्रॉ कर रहा हूँ, मतलब बहुत छोटा निकाला, so this is a group of pixels very connected to each other, okay, very connected, एकदम connected रहेंगे ये, right. मैं ये hollow निकाल रहा हूँ, लेकिन this is not a hollow. The group of pixels, okay, right, in this way the line is formed till the end, right. So consecutive points, this is word is very important, that the consecutive point is required, okay, right. So here groups of here we can say that groups of consecutive lines, consecutive pixels grouped together, okay, okay, in continuation group together to gather, okay, to gather from point P1 x1 y1 to point P2 x2 y2, right. So line segment is formed by enabling that pixel which is on the way, okay, we can say on the way or nearest to that way, nearest to that line segment. Now consider, let's start with our expression. Now consider from equation number 2. Consider equation number 2 here, which says that y minus y1 upon x minus x1 equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, okay. Let's now do the cross multiplication. Cross multiply it, okay. So let's have, we have y minus y1 into x2 minus x1 equal to here y2 minus y1 and x1, okay. So let's say this is equation number 4, and let's simplify this. Simplify equation number 4, okay. So solid, so let's simplify it and let it be y term along the left hand side. So y1 is equal to y2 minus y1 x1 divided by x2 minus x1, fine. Again simplify further, okay. So let it be the only y term along the y side, okay. Then here we have, let me write it down properly, y2 minus y1 x1 upon x2 minus x1 minus becomes plus here y1. Okay, this y goes to right hand side, right? Again, um, we distribute this property very properly, or we can write it down here in this form y y2 y1 upon, can we be able to write down like this way, x2 minus x1 and into, let's say into x1. Can we be able to write? Yes, we can able to write, which exactly means the same thing in the above equation. Okay, and after that this is exactly in the form of, something constant, this something constant, or distribute this over x minus x1. Okay, this is exactly same kind of thing, something x plus y, and we are doing ax into ay, right? Okay, so distribute this. This is called distribution property. Okay, so distribute this. Likewise, above equation comes to be, so here distribute this y equal to, again write it down properly, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1 over x, when I'm taking dot, minus this minus comes over here, again y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, okay, brackets I have given here, into dot x1 plus remaining term y1. Okay, remaining term y1. Now if we observe that very properly, we are representing this, we are comparing this equation with our standard equation. Okay, this is now exactly the form of our we have what we say cat. Okay, let's compare above equation with our standard line function, that is y equal to mx plus c. Okay, so let's compare. So we can say after comparing, okay, we can say that so let me change the color so that you can compare here itself. I will not write it down again. So what is this term called? Up to this term is called as m part. Okay, x stands over there, and what is this term is called as up to here to here. Okay, up to here we can say this is part C, right? This is the part C. So after comparing, okay, after comparing these equations, what we are getting here, we are getting this is also called a slope intercept form. So after getting m equal to y2 y1 upon x2 x1, so this is we are getting m's value. Okay, that is we can able to write down delta. Okay, here delta y delta x. Okay, so in this way slope we are getting delta x delta y, and also C can be written as, can be formed as, take completely term along with this the sign, minus sign, okay, minus of now observe that, now observe this term, now observe this term, okay, observe this term we can say that this term is just m, right? This term is, we can say, m into x1 plus y1, simply, okay. So this is, in this way we are getting the values of uh, m we can able to calculate, and also we can able to calculate values of c over here, constant. Now moving ahead, okay, did you understand what is the, see मैं क्यों बता रहा हूँ, क्योंकि लाइन सेगमेंट में स्लोप निकालना बहुत जरूरी है, और स्लोप will be calculated from two end points, okay, two ends point. Now observe this m, okay, now observe this value, this m, okay, इसमें क्या है वैल्यू, only two ends points, okay, जैसे p1 x1 y1, p2 x2 y2, these values only considered here, okay, right? So only two endpoints are required to calculate the slope. So change in x versus upon change in y, change in, sorry, x, change in y upon change in x divided by. Likewise here we required again m and first endpoint, so we are able to get simply c. Now next is finding, let's say next is finding the length, okay, length of the, excuse me, छोटा लेना है, length of line segment, formula देखना है हमें, okay. Now length of line segment can be calculated. Let's say you draw this diagram, okay, next equation देखना है, you draw this diagram, x-axis and y-axis, and there is one line from here to here, and which we have p1, p2, and corresponding x-axis here x1, and here we can say x2, and here we can say y1, y2, okay, and here we have p midpoint, okay, and here we can say capital L, it stands for length from here to here. L can be calculated now, okay, L can be calculated. So using Pythagoras theorem we have to find out the length, Pythagoras theorem. So let's say the line segment is given by using Pythagoras theorem. Suppose point P1, suppose point P1, we can write it down. Suppose points P1 which has x1, y1 coordinates, and point P2 x2, y2, point P2 x2, y2, okay, and now the length of the line segment. So now the length of line P1 P2 ऐसा representation करते हैं, okay, P1 P2, line P1 P2 is given by L square is equal to x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, okay. So this is Pythagoras theorem, right? So definitely if you have the projection here, and we need to find out this value and this value. So definitely this value can be given as this becomes a 90 degree. So using this Pythagoras theorem, we need to find out, suppose this is the line segment, so which we can compare c square is equal to a square plus b square. This is the Pythagoras theorem, or under root of a plus b square square. Okay, write this. Where we can say c value can be getting. So in the same way, L can be calculated using underscore x. Sorry, here uh, x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square whole square. So you note down this formula for which can be used in further couple of sessions. Okay, so length हमने निकाल लिया है. Similarly, how we can find it out? The midpoint. Midpoint means exactly the center point exactly lie at center on the line. On the line बहुत बोलना जरूरी है. Not beside the line or side में नहीं. On that point, on that line. Okay. So the point is enabled on the way, on the path of that enabling pixel. So midpoint, okay, we can get the midpoint like this way, divided by 2. So here p mid can be calculated like x mid comma y midpoint. Okay, हमने कहा हुआ. So this can be calculated using like this way, x1 plus x2 divided by 2. X coordinate मिल जाएगा. Okay, in this way, and y coordinates can be getting y1 plus y2. दो end points जो y coordinates add करो and divided by 2 करो उसको, right? So in this way we are getting two end points. Okay, two points, x1 plus x2 upon 2 comma we are getting y coordinate y1 plus y2 upon 2. So this is the formula for calculating our midpoints. Okay, right? So in this way, in this session we have seen that some equations also. Okay, and also we are able to find it out what is the line segment, the consecutive pixels enable from p1 to p1. Okay, that is called, we have taken x equation 2, we cross multiplied it, simplified it properly, and some rearranging the terms using distributive property, and then we compare it on with the some of our standard equation, and we are getting the value of m y1 y2 minus y1 and upon x2 minus x1 value of slope. Next c value also we are getting. Okay, in this way we have seen 1 2 3 and 4 formulas for the very important one formulas which is used for line segments. Okay, now moving ahead, how to calculate the intersection point, ये भी बहुत जरूरी है. ओके, ये हमें क्लिपिंग के वक्त लगने वाला है. क्लिपिंग. ओके, while we are discussing clipping, so let me write it down here. Intersection of two lines. How to find out? And this point is very, this section is very important. बहुत ही सिंपल है ये, लेकिन आपको ध्यान देना होगा. अगर ये चीजें समझ में आई ना तो ग्राफिक्स में कुछ भी नहीं है. टू इंटरसेक्शन निकालना है. तो टू इंटरसेक्शन, एक लाइन दूसरे लाइन को कौन से जगह पे क्लिक करती है वो पॉइंट का कोऑर्डिनेट्स निकालना है. सिंपल कोऑर्डिनेट निकालना है, एक्स वैल्यू निकालना है, वाई वैल्यू निकालना है. राइट. सो उसके लिए हमारे पास स्टैंडर्ड इक्वेशंस है. हाउ वन प्रोसीजर्स आर देयर. सो वी विल डिस्कस दिस प्रोसीजर. So we can find a point where two lines are crossed. Two line crossing means they share a common point. mind it well, this is very important, where two lines get crossed. Okay, now let me draw the line. Let me draw the line for you. Suppose this is the line. Okay, we can say line draw करने के लिए दो arrows means infinite. Okay, line 1 and one line is crossing like this way. Okay, this is called line 2. Okay, and here we can say, आपको शायद ग्रीन दिखता ही नहीं, मालूम नहीं, मैं ये कलर लेता हूँ यहाँ पे. Okay, fine. Here we can say, okay, if you see here, this point where this only one point will be there where the both line crosses. In other word to say that ये जो point है मैं इसे कहता हूँ xi yi, particular only this point. अगर इस point के बारे में बात करेंगे तो ये जो कॉमन पॉइंट है, ये कॉमन पॉइंट लाइन 1 पे भी है और लाइन 2 पे भी है कि नहीं. बाकी के इसके कोई भी पॉइंट, उसके बाजू वाला पॉइंट और उसके इधर वाला बाजू. ओके, सपोज वेरी मैग्नीफाइंग, अगर मैं ये इस तरह से निकालता हूँ 1 2 पिक्सल 3 पिक्सल 4 पिक्सल ऐसे निकालता हूँ, और एक लाइन का पिक्सल यहाँ पे निकालता हूँ, एक लाइन का पिक्सल यहाँ निकालता हूँ, एक लाइन का पिक्सल यहाँ निकालता हूँ. सो ऑब्जर्व दैट दिस पिक्सल अगर हम माइन्यूटली देखते हैं तो दिस पिक्सल इज enabled and also available on this line and also available on this line, right? So which shared, तो हमें वो पॉइंट निकालना है कौन सा है. ओके, so ultimately अगर हमने एक लाइन, in other word to say that point will satisfy the both line equations. Okay, हम किस तरह से निकालते हैं, तो सबसे पहले हम एक पॉइंट निकालते हैं and then we are substituting that point into another equation of line. This is the procedure. Okay, so after that line thing, now let's start with the finding out how to do this task, intersection. Let's write it down along with me. Now suppose, okay, suppose there are two lines, line 1 and line 2, both lines intersecting at point xi, yi, जो हमने यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. ओके, तो हमें ये थोड़ा उसका इंट्रोडक्शन लिखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि एज अ एग्जामिनर which point you are taken as an intersection, you have to tell them. So xi yi we are taken. Now let's take a line 1 in the equation. Now let's line 1 by equation, we can represent the line 1 by equation. Okay, so y equal to m slope 1 x plus b1. Let's say we can say b1 constant हम कौन से भी नाम से ले सकते हैं, b1. okay, for one line. Okay, we are getting equation line of line 1 here. Let's give the equation 1. Y equal to slope of first line x coordinate, okay, x coordinate plus b1. In the same way, line 2 can be given by equation by equation comes to be y equal to slope 2x plus constant 2. This can be characterized by second equation. Okay. Now where we can say where m1 and m2 are slopes of lines, okay, respectively. Then now very important point, you have to write it down as a consideration, that if point, okay, अभी वो चीज देखना है हमें कि ऑन पॉइंट दैट पॉइंट मिड पॉइंट पे क्या क्या इक्वेशन होगी लाइन की, मिड पॉइंट पे इक्वेशन क्या होगी. Write it down some illustration. If point that is say intersecting point or xi yi, okay, share by both lines, ये both था, by both the lines, then what happened, okay, both the lines, then what happened, point P, point xi yi satisfy both equations, okay, satisfy the both equation. तो ये ऐसा पॉइंट है जो हमने निकाला हुआ, ये ऐसा पॉइंट है, अगर ये पॉइंट हम लाइन 1 पे रखते हैं तो ये लाइन 2 का इक्वेशन सेटिस्फाई करेगा, अगर लाइन 1 पे रखते हैं तो लाइन 1 का सेटिस्फाई करेगा, ओके, that will be properly solved that equations. Now based on this phenomena, now put this point into both equations, okay, both above equations. So put point xi comma yi in above equations 1 and 2 both. So therefore we have yi, equation of line at point I, okay, that is the consideration. What is I stands for the moment or the instance of I, equation of line at position I. So equation of line at that point comes to be equation 1 comes to be of line 1, okay, of line 1. So let's say line 1 का इक्वेशन वो पॉइंट पे क्या आएगा, yi m1 xi plus constant b1, okay, are you with me? Yes. So this becomes equation 3. In the same way, equation of line 2 comes to be after satisfying yi m2 xi plus b2, equation number 4. Isn't it or not? Now observe very properly the left hand side. This term is same. We are talking about this same. So now equating both over yi. So how we can write it down? m1 xi plus b1 is equal to m2 xi plus B2. Okay, now I think we need to just simplify this. Okay, now moving ahead, just simplify this. B1M. Okay, okay, distribute. Okay, fine. रीअरेंजिंग द टर्म एक्स आई की टर्म एक साइड में लेके आओ, कांस्टेंट की टर्म दूसरे साइड लेके आओ. ओके, सो रीअरेंजिंग रीअरेंजिंग द टर्म. ओके, m1xi minus m2xi is equal to b2 minus b1. करेक्ट. रीअरेंजिंग. ओके, रीअरेंजिंग. इस ये टर्म इधर लेके आए, ये टर्म उधर लेके गए. Now taken the common term. Okay, taken out the common term here. We have m1 minus m2 in bracket xi. In the same way, here b2 minus b1, b2 minus b1 required, b2 minus b1. Okay, fine. And after that, we know that we know that we are equating with the point y. Okay, yi हमने इक्वेट किया हुआ है क्योंकि ये लाइन पे भी yi सेम है, ये लाइन पे भी yi सेम है. We need to find out what is xi value. Okay, we need to find it out what is xi value over here. In the same way, xi value can be getting by equating like this way. Okay, so b2 minus b1 upon m1 minus m2. Okay, and let's consider this as a equation here. Okay, so we have to consider this as equation 5. This is equation number 6. Okay, now put this value. Now put this value of in any of the equation. Okay, now put this xi value. Put this xi value in any line equation. Line equation say 3 or 4. So 3 or 4 means where we are getting this line segment at midpoint. Okay, so that lines comes to be let's say it's equation number 3. Consider equation number 3. So from equation 3, how we can getting by putting this. So yi is equal to m1 before putting, let's write it down that equation here before putting. Okay, वो equation क्या है? m1 xi plus b1. Okay, so after putting this, what will the value? yi value will be m1 and let's y b2 minus b1 upon m1 minus m2 the whole bracket plus b1, right? So now after this, just a matter of rearrangement and simplify this will become yi value. Let's rearrange this. Okay, distribute m1 and solve this completely. Okay, over simplify. Don't forget to simplify. आपको बहुत सारे equations simplify करने पड़ेंगे. Okay, after this and again do the job over here. This is just kind of a upon b plus C upon D. Okay, like this way, in this form, you please add the rational number. So I can be written as M here M1 V2 M1 V1 plus, okay, if you M1 B1 minus M2 B1 upon M1 minus M2. Okay, right? So in this way we are distributing, and observe that here we can say this term get cancelled out. Okay, this term get cancelled out. So now what is remaining term? yi m1 b2 m2 b1 upon m1 minus m2. Okay, this term we are getting, and this is equation number 7. So now at this point we got uh, coordinates or coordinates of xi and yi value, okay, by equation 6 and 7, isn't it or not? Yes, 6 में हमें xi की वैल्यू मिली और 7 में yi की वैल्यू मिली. So what we can say, you already have came to the end of the solution in this way. Intersecting point point have coordinates, okay, like intersecting point coordinates have coordinates, put it in proper format, okay, in both equations. So what is the here x coordinate b2 minus b1 from equation 6 upon m1 minus m2. This is x value, comma, what is the yi value? yi value from equation 7, m1 b2 minus m2 b1 upon m1 upon m2 minus m2, and this is your coordinate of midpoint, okay, by in terms of this one. So in this way in today's session we have seen that intersection point, okay, how to find out the intersection point. And suppose you know the equation of line, you know the equation of two lines, means we just know these lines, and in this way intersecting point, how we can calculate intersecting point? By using directly this formula, okay. X coordinate can be calculated over here, and then y coordinates of intersection. Just put this formula m1 b1 b2, okay. So slope of b2 constant of okay, like this you are directly getting from this equation, okay. Simply you can by heart, or you can directly deduce this at that time, okay. So most probably some formula हमें याद रखने पड़ेंगे. Now moving ahead, very small concept which is called vectors, okay, and then we will stop, and in the next session vectors, okay, how vectors can be defined, v arrow, right, v arrow. So suppose what is a vector here? Vector is starting from one point and goes infinite, okay. इस तरह से vector define करते हैं. It is originating from one point and ending at infinite, and this is called capital V vector, which has delta, which has this point dx dy, okay. So very few illustration about that. Vector has a single direction. Here, and length. Okay, and length. Then a vector may be denoted as in square bracket, okay, dx comma dy इस तरह से, okay, vector d where dx is indicates how far to move in x-axis, okay, how far to move in x-axis, and also, okay, dy indicates how far to move in y-axis. Okay, vector tells about what is vector tells about. Vector tells how far and in what direction. So here direction is very important. कौन से direction में जा रहा है, okay? So vectors always tells you the direction, okay? कितना direction, कितना length. So vectors में ये दो चीजें बहुत जरूरी होती है, direction and length, okay, and starting point. So vector tells how far and in the what direction to move, but they don't tell us about where to start. Okay, where to start, so no problem. The process of turning on and the pixel of a vector is called vector generation. So ये तो हमको मालूम है, means इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि turning on and off that pixel on that vector line is called vector generation. So we can also have now what is the properties associated? We can scale up. We can scale up vector n number of times. NV हम कहेंगे, NV means scaling. Scale up. Okay, scale up our vector. So scale up our vector. We can also say that NV n number of times dx. Okay, dx comma dy. In the same way, we can, if we say that n dx comma n dy, तो इसका मतलब यही है, अगर कोई कांस्टेंट कितने मल्टीप्लाइंग फैक्टर से उसे स्केल अप करना है, देन इफ यू नोट इट डाउन हियर कि इतने 2x, ओके, और 3 टाइम्स स्केल अप करना है, तो वी डायरेक्टली मल्टीप्लाइंग दैट पॉइंट 3 into changes in y, okay, 3 into changes in x, like this, directly multiply over there. And how we can find out the length? How we can find out length of the vector? The length of the vector is a mod value, okay, mod value which is gives under root of dx square plus dy square, okay, that's it. Vectors mod value, always give the mod value. What is mean by mod? It will not have negative, okay, it will not have the negative values. So in the next time we will see, and next time it is very important, the session, because it contains lines, okay, it contains lines and slopes, okay, lines and slope. So this is very important topic, और ये टॉपिक समझना बहुत ही जरूरी है कि अगर हम एक लाइन ड्रॉ करते हैं तो ऐसा ड्रॉ करेंगे, ऐसा ड्रॉ करेंगे, ऐसा ड्रॉ करेंगे या ऐसा ड्रॉ करेंगे. So any direction. So what will be the slope of the line? Okay, slope of the line is 1, slope of the line is 0, slope of the line is minus. So what is this? How to draw the line based on different slope, and after considering that slope, okay, then we will start our DDA line algorithm. Okay, digital differential algorithm, okay, analyzer, digital differential analyzer. ये हमें पहला असाइनमेंट है इस पे, based on that, and then we will start DDA line algorithm. Okay, so next time, very important that lines and line slopes, based on that our discussion will be carried on.